First story. Husband's entitled ex-wife got furious at my autistic stepdaughter for calling me mom in front of her. That's how I got one more daughter. Okay, so I 34F married the man of my dreams last month 44M, and he has a 16-year-old daughter from his prior marriage. I've been in her life, and she's been in mine for 4 years. I've done my best to be there for her as a friend and trustworthy adult, and she's a really, really great kid. I felt closer to her than I did to any of my sisters, and I could see she looked up to me and trusted me. One more important thing, she's on the autism spectrum. I swear, that's relevant. My husband and I went on our honeymoon for 2 weeks, and then we came back on Friday, and my stepdaughter came up to me and asked if we could talk. And she told me no one had ever been as considerate as I was learning how to make foods in the exact way she liked them, or as patient with her poor emotional regulation, her words. I think she's doing great, and she told me I was overall her favorite person in her life. So she asked if it was okay to call me mom. This really, really caught me off guard, and I stopped for a moment to process it. And she got embarrassed and told me she was sorry, and it was stupid. But I told her it wasn't stupid because I would love that. She got super excited and hugged me, and it was lovely. I was telling my husband about it later, and it suddenly sunk in that I had become somebody's mom. I just stopped, and I told him, I'm someone's mom, and he asked me if I felt like I was in the delivery room. I laughed at that, but I got so emotionally overwhelmed that I started crying. This morning she came downstairs and said, "Hey mom," to me, and it's going to take some getting used to. But holy SHT, that was a great feeling. I still don't believe I've earned the titles, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to try my damn best. So it seems last month, I got a husband and a daughter too. Pretty good deal, if you ask me. Comments. Orphan Izzy. This is the absolute best story ever. Reading this, as someone who never got to be a mom but wanted to, it really pulls at my heart in a good way for both of you. It makes me super happy. What an honor. Congrats on becoming a new wife and parent. Lol. Ooh, now you can look forward to Mother's Day. Update. So I recently made a post talking about how my stepdaughter asked to call me mom, and it made me really happy. My husband has 2 children from his previous marriage, a 16-year-old autistic daughter and a 26-year-old daughter. When they divorced, his ex-wife advocated for custody of the older daughter. It sounds like it was because she was more independent and less work, and he got the youngest one. As a result, his younger daughter always felt kind of unloved by her mom and didn't go too far out of her way to talk to her. So the older daughter finally got a job in her field that she's been fighting for a few years, and she wanted to have dinner with the family. She seems like a nice girl from the times I've interacted with her, but her mom seems passive-aggressive and unkind. We all got to the restaurant and sat down, and it was pretty nice and civil. I was sitting next to my stepdaughter, and she was a little overwhelmed because she hadn't been to the restaurant before and didn't know what to order. So we were looking at the menu, and I pointed out a type of pasta that looked similar to something we make at home that she likes. She said, "Thanks, Mom." I guess she said it loud enough that her biological mom heard, because she literally stopped everything and asked, "What did you just say?" My husband and I tried to defuse the situation, but she was very agitated by it and actually asked why she did it. Their older daughter stepped in and asked if she could tell her mom about her new job, and that got her to finally move on. My stepdaughter didn't say much for the rest of the evening, but on the way home, she tried to apologize for ruining the evening, to which we told her she didn't. Then, if this wasn't bad enough, both she and my husband received a 4-paragraph message talking about how disrespectful and egregious it was that she called another woman mom, and how she was very disturbed by it. My husband is just in disbelief and feels horrible for our daughter. He went to talk to her, and she didn't say much, but she clearly thinks this is all her fault. If anything, it's my fault for not discussing how she should refer to me at the dinner with my husband, and then discussing it with her beforehand. I just effing hate that this woman is upsetting her so much, and I see why my husband divorced her. Thank you for reading. Comments. Update. 6 days later. Last week, I made a post about how my husband and my autistic 16-year-old stepdaughter went to dinner with his ex-wife and their oldest daughter 26 to celebrate her getting a job she's been chasing her whole adult life. Then my stepdaughter called me mom at one point when my ex-wife got pissed and stopped the whole table to make a point, and the rest of the evening wasn't great. And then when we got home, both my husband and stepdaughter got a big text message from her talking about how disrespectful that was. So the day after the incident, my stepdaughter came over to me and told me her older sister texted her and asked if she could read the text out loud. I just nodded and said, definitely. But on the inside, my eyes rolled to the back of my head like, Jesus Christ, here we go. However, Her sister sent her a very, very lovely and thoughtful message saying she felt bad about what happened the night before, was sorry the two of them haven't been talking much lately, and asked if she wanted to try to be sisters again. Then she said she asked her what movies she's seen lately, and movies are her special interest, so that meant a lot to her. Not gonna lie, I was caught off guard by her sincerity and kindness. It was very, very sweet. Then later that day, I got a text message from her older sister, whom I assume got my number from her younger stepdaughter, and said she wanted to get to know me better since I am legally her stepmom now, and I'm the woman her baby sister is calling mom, so she definitely wanted to try to get to know each other. She also mentioned that she didn't get to celebrate her sister's 16th birthday with her, and felt that was a really big deal, and she asked if the three of us could get dinner and see a movie. Tonight the three of us went out and saw a movie and got dinner by ourselves. My younger stepdaughter picked the movie, and she loved it. But my older stepdaughter and I didn't get it. But all that matters is that she liked it. Then we sat down and had dinner together and had a very nice time. Then, on the way out, my younger stepdaughter asked if she could run into the store next to the restaurant to buy something really quick in and out. So we said all right. While she was in the store, my older stepdaughter told me she wanted me to know she misjudged me and watching the two of us interact both at the dinner the other night and tonight, me going through the menu with her to find something she likes, me advocating for her when their mother got upset, and how she clearly feels comfortable talking around her, and that she completely understands why I'm now mom to her. All in all, a pretty great night. After I got home, I saw she sent me a text related to something we talked about, so it looks like we're going to be talking now. She still has some stuff to work out with her biological mom, but we'll take this as a victory. Anyway, yeah. I just figured I'd share something positive since there's a lot of negativity on Reddit. And with my current situation, I figured I'd share a positive update. Comments. Square Owl 58883. My autistic son called my best friend mom too. It really annoys me how people get bent out of shape over this. Instead of feeling blessed for their child, people love them. The more love and support kids have in their lives, the better. OP. As a teenager, I used to call all my best friends mom's mom. 101,010 trees. I know it's not the same, but I was called mom at work. Lol. I don't have children, but apparently I exude motherhood. Hopefully, not in a bad way. The ex-wife is a real piece of work. It's nice that you took on taking care of a special needs child. It is no small feat, and you are deserving of the title of mom. OP definitely. I have no sympathy for a woman who demands to be called mom, while putting in no effort to be mom, or a man who demands to be called dad. Also, I just want to say, yeah, she technically is a special needs child, but she's very capable. She has been looking to apply for an after-school job and has started thinking about college. And while she does struggle with emotional regulation and has very specific preferences for things, she's no different from the rest of us. Lentho. I read the last post when it happened, and I'm so happy about this development. I'm so happy your daughter is being supported by her older sister, and your family feels like it grew a bit more. Congrats. And thanks for the wholesome update, OP. Yeah, it made me really happy to hear they were talking again. I left this out in the post, but I remember a few months ago my younger stepdaughter was trying to tell her sister about a movie she saw that meant a lot to her, and her older sister was being very sarcastic and snarky about it to get her goat, and she actually started crying. So I think it's great they're getting along. Lentho. Yeah, that's really good. Have you asked her why she was like that with her sister though? You don't have to if you want to let sleeping dogs lie. But it might help clear the air. I think she was just teasing her for the fun of it, without realizing it would hurt her feelings so badly. Second story. My fiancée abandoned my daughter all alone while taking her children for an outing. Now, victimizing herself, I'm done with her. Backstory. My fiancée and I have been together for about 4 years. She has 2 kids, 12 and 15, with shared custody. It's an odd arrangement. She has them from January to June. In early September, she moved into our house. My daughter, Charlie, is 10. For the record, up until recently, she has been an amazing mother figure to Charlie. Our first issue was back in November, when we discussed bedroom arrangements. She felt her eldest should have a room of her own while living here 6 months out of the year. That would cause Charlie to bunk with her youngest. I, however, did not allow it because that would encroach on Charlie and likely cause her to feel alienated in her own home. Last weekend, I was called in and worked a 12-hour shift. When I arrived home, Charlie was upset because they went out to eat and left her home. She said when they came back, she was handed a bag of takeout, and the food was stone cold. I asked my fiancé to elaborate, to which she confirmed taking only her girls out to an early dinner, and then taking them to play mini golf. Hence why the food was cold. It sat in the car as they played. She kept deflecting to the food, saying she didn't expect her to eat it cold. She could have warmed it up herself. I kept insisting it was extremely rude to exclude Charlie from the outing. She came back with, "But I brought her food home." She then asked, "Why is it okay for you to go out with just Charlie? That's different. In the last 30 days her kids have been here. Charlie and I have only gone grocery shopping or on one occasion took her cat to the vet. That can't even be compared to what she did. We didn't come to any sort of agreement." On Friday, she was taking her girls to the dentist. On the way out, she made the snarky comment, "I hope this doesn't offend Charlie too." It pissed me off that she said that. I called her feral. We both later apologized, but she then started the argument back up. She said it was so rude of me to argue about her taking her kids out. She further said, "I don't see my kids for 6 months. Excuse the hell out of me for wanting to spend time alone with them." I understood her point, but I felt like we could periodically plan separate outings on the same day, so no one feels excluded. She kind of threw the bedroom ordeal in my face and said, "My kids might feel alienated from their own mother if they can't enjoy time alone with me." She made the pointless remark that her kids have no problem with her doing things with Charlie while they're living with their father. She further argued that there will be many times when Charlie will be excluded because of the age gap between her and the eldest. I told her if she expected things to work out, she would need to treat Charlie as one of her daughters. She said I was entirely missing her point because I don't know what it's like to have shared custody. Me scolding her for spending time with them, as she said, was a BTCHR move. Relevant comments. Wait, who looked after Charlie? No one. Which technically isn't illegal in our state. We don't have a law on it. She's mature enough to be left home alone. But I've never left her alone for more than an hour. I've especially never left her alone in the dark. She's never been left alone at night. And in this particular incident, she was. Yes, I've left her home alone before. My 2 rules are, 1. It's never for more than an hour. 2. Never at night. She can always call me while I'm at work, but she knows only to call if there's a real emergency. So she wasn't sure what to do. Had I known she was at home by herself, I would have periodically called to check on her. But I didn't even know. Food poisoning could have happened. Honestly, I didn't even think about the food poisoning potential. I was more focused on the big picture of excluding her. My fiancée was like, "Well, I placed her order to go after we ate." That changed anything, since she knew it would be sitting in the car for who knows how long. Nobody plays mini golf for a couple minutes anyway. Why couldn't she pick a different weekend? This was pretty much my point exactly. I don't work every weekend. Until June, there's going to be many weekends she can go off with her kids and do whatever she wants. Why pick the weekend? I'm working to do it. No one even told Charlie anything, except that we'd bring dinner home. She didn't know about them playing mini golf until I wanted to know what exactly the reason was for her being left home. It's like she knew exactly what she was doing by excluding Charlie because she was trying to hide it. Is this behavior recent? Yes, this has only been an issue since she moved in. I should have elaborated more on how the dynamic changed. I get a lot of comments here saying toss her to the curb. That's why I asked her if you expected this to work out. Before we lived together, she would take her kids to amusement parks, water parks, and bowling alleys. You know, all that type of stuff. Sometimes both Charlie and I would join, and sometimes we'd later hear about the things they did together. That was fine. No one was excluded because the dynamic was different. 2 different households. Then, during the 6 months she didn't have the kids, we'd see each other more. We'd take Charlie together to go do fun things. Sometimes we'd have date nights while Charlie was spending time with her grandmother. Everything was fine. Charlie's mom left the picture when she was 3. She doesn't ever see her. So having a mother figure aside from her grandma really helped Charlie fill a void. Why are you more interested in SX than your daughter? Kick them out. No, my child comes way before that. I can't just throw her and her kids out. For starters, there's a housing shortage here and a long wait list. They'd have to go live in a hotel. She would possibly have her kids fully taken away at that point. I'm not a heartless prick. I can't, in good faith, just throw them out and be okay with that. Plus, per state laws anyway, she would have 30 days to vacate if it comes down to that. OP is voted NTA. Update. 4 days later. As of tonight, she's moving out. She's going to move in with her mother. I didn't think that would be an option, but I'm glad it worked out for her kids' sake. As far as our relationship goes, I can forgive, but I can't forget. She's so damn stubborn. She still doesn't see what she did wrong. She only sees herself as the victim in this. I'm honestly over it. I can't have someone mistreating my kid behind my back. Charlie has mixed emotions, which has made me feel even worse. She's been upset with her for what she did to her. But yet she's sad she's leaving. She thinks when the other girls go back to their dads, the relationship will revert back to what it was. I told her that's like a conditional relationship. It's not healthy to be loved and treated well only 6 months out of the year. She should have treated my child the same, regardless of whether her kids were here or not. Tomorrow, the evil stepmother is officially moving out as soon as the truck arrives. Charlie will be going to her grandmother's during the move just to prevent any idle words from being spewed against her. Her grandmother has a fun day planned for her, which she's looking forward to. I'm looking forward to having this lady out of my house. She's damn well taken over, and I've far too long kept my mouth shut. Third story. OP's wife believes she is pregnant with twins, even though tests have proven she's not. And OP fears that his wife has mental issues. All this time, we had either not decided to have kids or had problems getting pregnant. After some medical testing, we found out that it was near impossible to get pregnant due to some medical issues with her. We were thinking of adopting when one day she came home and told me she was expecting. Of course, I was super happy. A week later, we had an appointment at the gynecologist, and she had some blood drawn. The test came back negative, and of course I was devastated, but she wasn't. She claimed that she was pregnant and that the doctor was wrong. We took some more store-bought ones, and they all came back negative. My wife is in complete denial. Now she claims we are having twins. She is buying them clothes and decorations and is pressuring me to start with the nursery. I am at a loss and don't know what to do. My inaction is making her believe that I want to leave them and that I am going to doom my wife into the life of a single mom. What the F is even happening? I love her, but I don't know what to do. Edit. I forgot to add. I have tried talking her into therapy, but she accuses me of gaslighting her. A little update or edit. Thank you guys. You really helped me out. Yesterday was a bad day, and you helped me get clarity. I've had a chat with our doctor, who will now be handling this with us. I would like to thank most of you for your useful advice, and hopefully I will be able to update the good news someday. But a F you to those who said I should divorce her because she is crazy, and an extra F you to the guy who used this post to push his anti-abortion agenda. First update. I called up our primary doctor and told him about the problem. He seemed very concerned, and he wanted us to come see him the next morning. He said it was important to be gentle, but not feed into her delusions. I sat her down, and we talked. All she wanted to talk about was when I would get the nursery started, that we were on a time crunch, how she had found the perfect color for the room, and how she wanted me to be more involved in her pregnancy. I tried to be very calm, but I was very perturbed by seeing her that way. I asked her to go to the doctor with me tomorrow. She said yes, saying that she wanted to check on the babies either way. Now I took some advice and words you gave me about being calm and asking a bit why she thinks she is pregnant without calling her delusional. So I did. She kept changing subjects or saying, "A mother just feels it. You wouldn't know how it is." Then I said that I loved her so much that I would never think of leaving her, but we needed to go to the doctor to confirm her gut feeling. She got very agitated and was crying, telling me that if I wanted to leave her, I should simply leave, but I shouldn't call her a liar. Somehow, I managed to calm her down enough for her to go to sleep. After she did, I went to her computer. I never snooped on her, but I remembered a commenter pointing out forums about cryptic pregnancy, so I went for the lookout. Oh boy, she was in 2 Facebook groups. One was a normal mommy Facebook group, and the other was a group about women who believed they were pregnant. In the normal group, she would post updates about her symptoms, pictures of her belly, and her story about how she was almost not able to have children, but that it was the grace of God that kissed her tummy. The gift of life was given to her, and how she was compensated for all these years of suffering with twins. In the other group, the women were quite literally, and excuse me here, effing insane. They were feeding on each other's delusions. A woman said that she was almost 2 years pregnant, and that sometimes it just takes longer. My wife would post there complaining about doctors who do not take her seriously and about me. So many women were making her fear that I would leave, saying things like men cannot stick to a woman. Many recounted their stories about how their marriages broke down because their spouses could not handle the pregnancy. I was really effing scared. I researched phantom pregnancies, and I read somewhere that that could also be a sign of schizophrenia. So, to say the least, I could not sleep. I was and am still very afraid of losing her. She woke up, and I tried to act like nothing was wrong. We were going to the doctor, and it was as if nothing had happened yesterday. She was convinced that we were going to a pregnancy checkup. Things got really bad when we began talking to the doctor. He was really tactful when talking to my wife. He tried to explain to her that it was medically impossible that she was pregnant. We tried to show her the tests and the ultrasound we did the day before, but nothing. She got more agitated and began to cry and scream at me for making her look like a crazy person. She began bouncing back and forth and holding her head with both hands. We could not calm her. She went in on a full-on panic attack. She could not breathe. The doctor laid her down and tried giving her some medicine to relax, but it did not help as he didn't have the necessary tools to treat a panic attack that was that bad. She had to go to the hospital, where they took care of her. I did an EKG to exclude the possibility that she was suffering a heart attack. At that point, I really had no other option than to inquire about an involuntary commitment. So I could not do it myself. I needed my doctor's statement that she was a danger to herself and others, and he had to initiate the process of an involuntary examination for 72 hours. After that, we will have to submit a written statement to the court to determine whether or not she can stay there against her will. So far, I have submitted all her posts in both Facebook groups, as well as the test we did with timestamps when possible. My wife is 2 days into the 3-day examination, and I have had no contact with her. When I last saw her, she was furious with me. She said I was taking away her freedom, which I am. I felt horrible, dirty, and useless. She is so mad at me. I feel like I am abandoning her, and I don't know how she will ever forgive me. I love her with all my heart. I am afraid of what will happen if the courts decide that I can't commit her, and how our lives will be affected. I feel like I failed to protect her. At this point, I am just rambling. Sorry for the long post. I guess I just need to vent because I have no one else to really turn to who just wants to listen. I feel judged by everyone and pitied. I just hate it. Sorry for the spelling mistakes. Edit. I will not effing leave my wife, you unempathetic DC kids. When I gave my vows, I meant through illness and bad times. I am not only on the ride for the good times. If you truly love someone, you will do whatever it takes to see them healthy again. Would you leave your spouse if they went through a severe physical illness? I am here to stay. I will not divorce her. She is not a effing psycho. She is sick. I hope no one of your loved ones ever has to go through this, because their support network will consist of cowardly DC kids. Sorry for the rant. But if you want to say something like divorce, don't even bother. I understand people who make the choice to leave if the situation starts to mess with their mental health. And I respect that. But I won't do that. Edit 2. My wife didn't have a heart attack. She was examined because panic attacks register with similar symptoms as heart attacks. I don't exactly know what our doctor gave her, as I was so distraught. But I was not a sedative. I think it was something along the lines of Valium or Baldrian. Over-the-counter stuff, mostly. She has a family. She is estranged from most of them. Her sister is now at our place to help. Also, refrain from such stupid comments as, "I'll bet she will leave, bro. She is crazy. How did you marry her?" Because they are not helpful at all. Especially the bets that are going on that my wife will leave me once she gets better. It just seems like you want me to divorce. Get a life. Final update. Hi guys. It's me again. We have a lot of time on our hands, so I thought, why not update the community that helped me? Even if it was just to let me know that I could vent. I don't even know how much time has passed, but I am very happy to say that things are working out. I have my wife's permission to share this with you all, and she is even telling me to greet you. After the 72-hour stay, it was determined that she had to stay there. My wife was pissed for the first few weeks. It was a devastating time. But time and therapy heal all wounds. Slowly, I was allowed to come visit. And every day I went, I saw a bit more of the person I loved. There were sitbacks along the way, and I had to watch a lot of what I said and did. For example, in the first few weeks, she wouldn't tolerate touch or something like that. Our trust had to be regained slowly. From both parts, we put so much work into it. And even now that she is back home, and has been for a while, we sometimes have bad days where it is difficult for my wife to get out of bed, or where I am suspicious of her getting back into that state. But at the end of the day, I am happy. We go to counseling together, and we are on individual therapy as well. Especially because, due to the stress, I developed a form of anxiety. But every day, it's a bit better. I have discovered new sites for my wife, like the new hobby that she has of making resin jewelry and decorations. Even our quarantine time has been quite peaceful. We still have remote therapy and everything. Things are not normal yet, and adoption is not back on the table as of now. We have given ourselves at least a year of therapy before we think about parenting and raising a child. One thing is certain. I am still in love with my wife, and I still love her so much. Our relationship might not be better than ever, but it sure as hell is stronger than ever. Also, she has done a lot of self-reflection, and of course has thanked me for how I handled things. She is lovely. We are happy. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.